focus this week and next is on the final section of Genesis 1 through 11, the universal history. We're in chapters 10 and 11 right now, and this tells about how the people emerging from the ark, Noah, his wife, their three sons, their wives, we last saw them on Mount Ararat, offering a sacrifice, how they become the tracing of that story through the rest of Genesis, leading up to Abraham, who emerges on the scene about 2000 BC. So most of Genesis chapter 10 is called the Table of the Nations, is given over to genealogies. Same thing with Genesis chapter 11. So it explains the spread of various groups, who they are, and where they went. The first 9 verses, though, are not. And I want to read those first 9 verses of Genesis chapter 10. Now the whole world had one language and a common speech. As men moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. They said to each other, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used brick instead of the stone and tar for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves and not be scattered over the faces of the whole earth." But the Lord came down to the city and the tower that the men were building. The Lord said, "If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and confuse their languages so they will not understand each other." So the Lord scattered them from there over all the earth, and they stopped building the city. That is why it was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the whole world. From there the Lord scattered them over the faces of the whole earth. So we're about 150 years past the flood. The descendants of Noah have settled in this area, Shinar, which we think of as Babylon. Those who extrapolate this and try to make an educated guess suggest there's probably 30,000 people or so. And the text says that they speak with one voice, or literally it says with one lip and one kind of word. So there's a common language. Now now we get into the Tower of Babel, right? That's the story, obviously, that we're reading. They learn how to make bricks, which is a bit of a technological breakthrough. Might not seem like much of one, but it was. And this helps them decide that they're going to build a city and to build a tower. Now, the important thing to note is this is not just any tower. This is a tower that is supposedly going to reach into the heavens, and it's going to help them make a name for themselves, and it's going to keep them from spreading out. And so God is not pleased with this plan, and he scrambles their languages. He's not pleased with this plan for a variety of reasons. This is a fascinating account to read, story to read, and all the symbolism and all the things that are being talked about here. Again, Genesis 1 through 3 especially, but really Genesis 1 through 11. There's so many. It's the introduction of so many different ideas and concepts. So God's going to scramble their language. They're going to babble. They're in Babylon. They're going to babble. This is going to mean that they're going to spread out, which is part of what God was frustrated. They were going to stay together, and he's told them, right? That's part of the whole, that initial commissioning, that initial cultural mandate that they're given is that they're to spread out, they're there to oversee the whole world. This is going to keep them together. So, look, this passage leaves us with a lot of questions. We're going to look at it for the next few days. What exactly did they do wrong? Why was building a city or building a tower a problem? Is it wrong to build bricks? We're going to be looking at all of this and some of the implications behind all of this in the days ahead. Have a good day.